I wasn't meant to be a mother. It's just a fact. Like when I tell you the sky is blue and you don't ask, isn't it purple? No. You nod and agree. Most people agree when I say I'm not motherly material. Strangers will often ask, why? Or, you will change your mind. And I just nod and smile through gritted teeth. I could tell you paragraphs about how my childhood was, but this is about my son. The birth of Ellis Michael Jones wasn't conventional. He was born into this world unwanted and would leave it unwanted. He had come from a family of losers. Our ancestors were losers and he was doomed to the same fate. I was 16 when I got pregnant. Having failed most, if not all, of my exams, especially English, as though you couldn't tell. When my boyfriend talked me into getting pregnant, he left the moment I got pregnant. I could tell you, Ellis entered the world, peach face, dark curls sticking to his head and green eyes, unfocused, lazily gazing into mine, but I'd be lying. Ellis' entrance to the world was violent and bloody. A thunderstorm outside threatened to take down the whole building, and when he was born, he was just silent, face pale and eyes closed, unwilling to open. I almost wish they didn't open. I gave him to my aunt, so really I only hold the title Mama as a biological thing. My aunt was all starry-eyed when I handed her Elias. At the time, he was unnamed, but he deemed him worthy enough to hold my papa's name. Whenever I visited, she didn't look at him. He was 7 and already unwanted. I wish I cared. My aunt stammered to me about his drawings when he was 5, and these drawings were scarcely accurate but explainable. He drew my living room, and not some childish version, but everything down to the stain on the couch and the roses in the vase. I hadn't seen that house since he was born, having been kicked out. Roses were the last flower I'd bought Mama in a hopes she'd forgive me, but, as I said, easily explained, roses are my favorite flower, and Ellie's took after me in that fact. These little drawings continued once again, scarcely accurate, such as him drawing Lucy, my old childhood pet, being buried, but these things had been and gone. He must have heard me talking to my aunts about them, and out of spite drew that. I had muttered to him on my way out that it was no wonder why nobody wanted him if he was so spiteful. He smirked at that as though he knew something I didn't. He drew a cut I later on got as I sliced his vegetables for him. He got it accurate to even the length of the cuts. Over the time, these photos became increasingly more graphic and always more detailed than the last, which was a shame. I thought because if he drew art people wanted to see, he could have left behind his destiny of being a loser, but clearly he wouldn't. I remember last year, to the day when my aunt called me screaming about how Ellie was a demon, about how he drew something so unnatural that she feared to look into its eyes. She couldn't be in the same room as him, and that I'd collect him or so help him God. When I collected him, he was in the rain. He had been for at least 2 hours. I didn't have it in me to care and almost left him when I saw his smirk. Ever knowing as usual. We got into a car accident later on. Alice didn't make it. I wish I cared enough to cry, but instead, I felt relief. Drawings started to show up in my car, all depicting my death, and all becoming more and more violent than the last. I'm warning you. I don't doubt my death will happen, but just know he won't be satisfied with just my death.